Hello. Welcome back to another episode of She's Doing All Right. My name is Sarah Carter. I'm your host, and today is another Loved, Learned, and Left episode. So I'm kind of doing these at the first week of every month, and we're reflecting on the past month. So my goal with this is to have wonderful things that are going to benefit you, either in the sense of products I would recommend, or experiences or books. And then lessons that I've learned or things I've learned that hopefully can also add some wisdom to your day. And then the left part is just things that I'm not taking into March with me or into the next month with me. Starting off strong with the things that I loved. We had an absolutely beautiful month. The weather was fantastic, and then it got really cold, but the first couple of weeks were great, and they were beautiful and sunshine. And if you live in a cold climate, you know that the sunshine is worth its weight in gold. It is so nice. So I'm very happy about that. Got outside for some more walks, and I'm hoping to do more walks this summer. So if you have a good pair of shoes for walking, please recommend them, because I am still using a pair of runners that I used I want to say like 5 years ago. Like, they're ragged, they're not cute, they're not necessarily functional. So yeah, recommendations are absolutely appreciated. Another thing I've been loving is watching my son absorb life and the world around him. It is so cute. He's at a really good age right now where he has a favorite book or multiple. So if he sees a dinosaur on TV, he runs and gets his dinosaur book. And he has different, he'll bring us a book that he thinks what it is, and we start reading it, and he takes it from us and gets the book he wanted. He's starting to show his smarts, I guess, if that's not a weird way to put that. So that's really cool. And I'm just loving it. He's starting to give us words. Like the other day, he's asked, what's that? And I was like, garlic. Can you say garlic? And he goes, garlic. And I'm just like, oh, you're mimicking words. This is so cute. This is the stage of parenting that I prayed I'd make it to. Like last summer, when it was just not fun and not good, not because of the baby, but just because of my mental health. This was what it just was worth it. This is what I was picturing and dreaming of. So it's kind of cool. In a lot of ways, I'm living my dreams right now, and I'm very grateful for it. And I'll touch a little bit on that in the learned section as well. We got a zoo pass this year, which I am not typically a supporter of zoos, but I found that it was kind of worth it in the city just for something to do. And it's a great way to get the kid outside, and we go with friends. A lot of our friends have zoo passes, so it's worth it. I feel a little bit ethically weird about it, but I am loving seeing Marcus enjoy the animals and taking friends with us and stuff too. And it's gonna be so good with grandparents, because then they have something that they can do that's just not hanging around the house or going to the park. Those are great things too. But another thing that I loved was I celebrated my 30th birthday. So fun. It was kind of a funny experience. So I really wanted to have classy cocktail night. That was the theme. And so I was spending a lot of time looking for these places in my city, Calgary, that would give that vibe. And I settled on 4 or 5 places. And then as I was researching their menus, because I wanted something that had good drinks, obviously, but also really good food. And then the other thing was that it had to be somewhat reasonably priced options. I didn't need everything to be perfect, but they needed to have something good in a lower price range. I have friends on all scales. So that was trying to find a good balance of stuff was a bit tough. So I settled on this one place, and I didn't go. The first option was, let me clarify that. The first option was this really cute speakeasy, and they don't take reservations on Saturdays. So I had to just let that one go, even though that had been my vision. And I found this other place that online looked super classy and fun. And I knew it was that they had shisha there, but I don't know, in my head, it was a different part or something like that. And I don't mind shisha. That part's great, but it was just obviously that's going to have a different vibe. So I personally loved the music. I thought the music was great. But we went for dinner at 7, and I think 15 minutes into dinner, the lights went down. So we ate our food in the dark. We were under a speaker, so the music was blaring. I had ordered a reservation, or made a reservation for 20 of us, or 18 to 20, and they put us in a booth that they told us would fit that. But there was 11 of us waiting on 5 or 6 more. and we were like already in there. So I was like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna work. And I stressed a little bit for a moment, but overall it was just like a funny experience because I'm like, I'm going to my 30s. My word of the year is authenticity. And I went into this birthday celebration hoping to like give a vibe and carry this like aura of the woman, this classy woman that I want to be. And I end up at the shisha bar with music blaring, and we all lost our voices. But and then we also, the worst part of that was that we got tipped, or everyone tipped on top of auto gratuity because the server did not tell us about the auto gratuity. So that part was quite unfortunate. The manager did apologize in an email much later, but there's nothing that can be done except to move on to the lessons learned. And the first thing I learned this month is if you have a vision for something, go check it out. It would have cost me an hour of my day to go drive by the location and step inside and just see, is this really the vibe I want? What booth are you putting us in that you say can hold 20 people? Yeah, even if I'd popped by for like 15 minutes on a Friday or Saturday night just to see like what the vibe was, which honestly that part was good, and the food was fantastic and the drinks were really good. So like there was a lot of pros. It was just like I would have changed locations pretty quick. I think I would not have made the reservation there. It wasn't quite the Sarah vibe I was going for, but that was okay. So yeah, the lesson learned was don't be lazy when planning something that's really important to you. Put the time in. I think I was trying to be a little bit more chill, and I should have not been as chill. You know, I should have like done the work on the front half of it so that I didn't have to do it later. I learned another thing that I learned was my friends they're happy to celebrate me wherever, and that means a lot because I think I would do the same for them. So that night really showed me that, first of all, like I said, we all had fun. But I think we would have all had fun in a McDonald's. Like if I had accidentally booked us this undercover McDonald's restaurant, we would have all gone and eaten our burgers and fries and had a great time as well, because I think we just bring the energy and the party, and that was fantastic. I also learned that I really do just want to find uh, someone in town that I can trust my child with so that I could drop him off, because we would have preferred to have like a home cocktail night and like make everybody come here. That would have been so fun. But regardless, my friends would have come out for me no matter what, and we would have had a good time. I really hope that I can make sure that every single friend that was there that night feels that way. Like I can make them feel that way sometime and just make them see that they're so supported and loved by me. Just because, yeah, I felt very special to be like, this is not the venue I'd set up for you guys, but I'm glad you're all having fun. So, another thing I learned was I need to be better, and I want to be better at celebrating my friends. I had one goal this year, which was to send out birthday cards. And the first week of January, I'd already missed like 2 birthdays. January goes by, I missed like 10 birthdays. I have a lot of people in my life that mean a lot to me, and it doesn't take that much time to write up a card and send it out, but it's just a matter of remembering. And this actually got me thinking today or yesterday, walking home from daycare after dropping my son off. I forget that there's the little things that really count, it's kind of weird because that seems so important to me. But when it comes to doing it, I think I forget sometimes if the person isn't at the forefront of my mind. In pretty much all my friends' lives, like I have gifts either bought for them or even a postcard. I have a postcard in my collection from 2013 that I had bought, and it was in Barcelona, and I was going to send it to my friend. And I still have it. It's been written and filled out. I just didn't have her address, and I just have never sent her the card. And she even came and visited me this year, and I still forgot to give it to her. So things like that, where I'm just like, I would like to be putting more effort into celebrating my friends and my family, just to let them know I am thinking about them on their day. And when it came to back to the daycare thing, they asked me for a photo, like a family photo, a few months ago. At this point, we don't have any family photos printed out, so it means going out of my way to select a family photo, and honestly probably take a current family photo, then go get it printed out, and then take it to daycare. And just the sequence of that for some reason feels like it's a lot more complicated than it is, because in reality that'd be less than an hour of my time. So yeah, I need to prioritize that. And I've learned that that's something I want to prioritize. And the last big thing I learned that I'll talk about was that I really need to be present. I spent a lot of time on my phone this month. And if you've listened to the last version of this episode, I had said I needed to prioritize sleep. And we did a little bit better, but also did a little bit less as well. So it's just been a busy month. And my sleep needs to be prioritized for sure. I would like to get a humidifier in our room. My husband's a little bit against it because he sees the stuff on the windows after the steam. So I totally get that part. I mean, we've been having minus 37 weather, so minus 18 on average. So yeah, that part won't necessarily be every single night, but I would like to improve my sleep. And I think that means improving the habits around it. So a humidifier I've heard has helped or will help with sleep and skin as well. So it's double bonus there. And a really good night routine. I just talked with a friend today and she's going to start texting me. I was telling her all about how I need to get off my phone at 7:30. That's a really big thing I want to do. And yet I catch myself not doing it. And then I'm mad at myself. So she's like, I'm going to text you every single night at 7:30 and make sure that you are off your phone. And if you text me back after 7:30, I'm going to be like, nope, you said not to do this. So I'm excited for that because I really think that a good day starts with your night routine. I've heard it said so many times and it just makes sense. So yeah, I want to get myself into a really good night routine because I've learned that that's not something I have at the moment. And being present at night before bed will really help myself just decompress from the day. I'll probably sleep without dreams. And yeah, I have so many good journals and things that I want to fill out and document what my day was like and what my feelings were and the inspiration that came to me that day. So I'm excited to start doing that in March. Let's move into what I'm leaving. Okay, so the first one is that I want to leave behind my negative attitude. I am a person who is very prone to frustration. It is, if you're familiar with human design, it is my not self theme, which basically just means when I feel frustrated, it is my body and my essence is absolutely unaligned with who I am, you know? I see that as I am frustrated because things around me are not aligned with me, but the spirituality and astrologically aligned things say that that is incorrect. It is me, which I do agree because we can change our attitude. And I actually had this just happen today. I ended up locking the keys in the truck and I was really, really frustrated with it. And I tried, I gave myself 5 minutes to feel crappy about it. I was getting frustrated. I had somewhere to be and I really wanted to cry. It's just been one little thing after another, it feels like. And I try not to focus on that because I don't want more of that. So I'm trying really hard to just be aware of the direction my attitude goes to. And my feelings can still be negative, I guess, if that, I can feel sad and I can feel frustrated, but I don't need to make it so aware that everyone around me knows, oh, she's frustrated. Does that make sense? I'm trying to figure out how to word that. But yeah, I just don't want me to be radiating the negative emotion. And one thing about me too, I don't love is I vent heavily. The minor inconveniences in my life, I just dump them. And I've talked about this with my therapist before, and a lot of this, it comes from childhood. I wasn't really allowed to vent too much, and I had a lot that I had to keep in. So now as an adult, I have all these wonderfully amazing, trusted friends who would drop anything for me, and I would do the same for them. But that means I send, not really trauma dump, but oh, how's your day? It was awful? Yes, let me tell you every detail of why it was awful. And we also discussed in therapy about how it's actually really not beneficial to focus on it. Vent for 5 minutes, but don't let it turn into 45 minutes of bringing up the topic and bringing up all the emotions, because now you just spent 45 minutes talking about something that you aren't happy with when and you didn't solve anything, I think actually I just heard a podcast episode about that as well. I want to say it was on the Blonde Files. I am not sure what episode though, but yeah, we're leaving behind a negative attitude in March. That is one of my big goals. And that is, um, it's going to be a hard one if we continue to get cold weather. I am not a cold weather person, and I'm ready for it to be gone. But we're going to work on it. Every single day is a day that we are alive, and it's a good thing. So we're going to continue trying to change the attitude in that. Another thing that I'm leaving behind is Legree full-time. I have had, for the month of February, an unlimited pass that I got as like a New Year's promo. So I went pretty much, like, I'd say 4 to 5 times a week to Legree. And then I also still had my membership from Pilates. So I was going once or twice. Well, it's a 4-month or 4 pass kind of thing. So I can go 4 times a month. And I went, I think, almost every week. So I have loved Legree, and Pilates now feels like, even today I did one of their harder classes, and it was kind of like a nice cool down as an easy version. And that's crazy to me because I struggled my very first one in December. But then Legree, I think, is just so much heavier and intense, but it's low intensity. So you spend a lot of time growing your muscles and learning control. So going into Pilates, they're telling you to go faster and do this, and it was interesting. It was just very interesting. So I'm leaving behind a full month of Pilates, and I've got my 4 weeks there, or like once a week for March. And I'm going to miss going frequently, but I am excited for a bit more time at home. And I'm looking forward to getting back in my home workouts because I do enjoy being able to just stay cozy and not have to leave the house. Another thing I'm leaving, this is kind of a random one, but I'm leaving the random book hauls from libraries now because in February and a little bit in March, I made so many book orders. So I would go to the library, I'd find a book I wanted, and I'd check out like 12, and then I'd order more books when I got home from the similar authors because I was like, I like this author's book. I'm going to order a bunch of them and read them all. And it left me with having like 10 books ordered, all coming in at once, plus like another 12, maybe not that many. It was like 6 books ordered and like 10 books I'd gotten from the library while I was waiting for the orders. So the one thing with me is I read fiction very fast. Like I can crush a fiction book in like, I don't know, 5 hours, 6 hours at like max. Especially if it's a romance novel. Like I'm staying up all night to read that. And if I start at 7 o'clock, I'm usually done by 2 a.m. So like 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. When it comes to nonfiction, that's the books I really want to be able to spend more time with because I learn obviously more from those. And that one's a bit tough because I don't finish them as quickly. I'm less inclined to read them, I guess, just because not that they're boring, but it's a different brain thing, right? It's kind of like watching a documentary versus watching a comedy show. Like you're one of those you're learning, one of them you're laughing. And it's pretty rare that you get to find a great show that blends knowledge and education with the entertainment. So that part is a bit tough, but yeah, I have so many books on hold and I have so many books that I've bought from Goodwill. And so I'm no longer doing any library hauls until I've read everything on my to be read list. That's the rule I'm putting in place for myself. I'm leaving behind the random library hauls, but it's so hard. There's so many good books. And if you're into romance book covers, or romance books, I guess, there's the covers that you can just tell it's a romantic comedy. It's kind of sketched in. It's not like a real photo. And you just know it's going to be good. It's going to be funny. It's going to be lighthearted. And there's probably going to be like some good spicy scenes if you're into that, you know? So I'm kind of sad for that, but it's just for March. And I'm hoping that I can read through like all the other books that I have. My friends gave me the Atlas of the Heart from Brene Brown, as well as 101 Essays That Will Change Your Life from Brianna West, I think, or Weist. So those are 2 that I really want to read. I'm currently reading through The Voice of Knowledge still. That was my February book, but it did not get finished. It was a busy month and, again, nonfiction. But I'm working through it slowly and trying to take the lessons. I'm really looking forward to reading these books, and I'm pretty sure that by the time I get through them, like not just the ones I mentioned, but everything that's on my list, I'm going to have some very interesting topics to talk about. So I'm looking forward to that because my favorite thing is to comment on stuff. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but it's helpful when you have a podcast and something that you need to talk about. So I love commenting on things, and I cannot wait to comment on these books or things that I'm reading or watching. So that is it. I know this kind of flew by. I went through it really fast. I had a very busy day, and I just want to get this episode recorded so that then I can edit it and have it up in time for everybody to listen to. If you want to support the podcast or you want to stay up to date for when things like that and episodes are coming out, you can go ahead and check us out on Instagram at She's Doing All Right. Or you can find my personal social medias on TikTok and on Instagram, and that's sarah.g.carter. And I believe that is all for right now. Oh, if you want to rate and review the podcast, that would mean so much. Comments, engagement, all of it is so helpful. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.